Hello, good afternoon. I'm the managing partner of EAA, Gonca Paşolar. Actually, in EAA, we care about context, we care about what is existing and what has existed before. Istanbul Museum and Painting and Sculpture building has been a challenging exercise of transformation of an existing building by keeping the traces of the past while designing a modern museum building. This institution is the first fine arts museum of Turkish Republic, which was founded in 1937 at the mention of the Crown Prince of Dolmabahce Palace. It was converted into a museum just after the imperial family had been sent to exile after the establishment of the Turkish Republic. Actually, this is the building. The collection involved 19th century Ottoman paintings and sculpture and later covered the whole Republican period's art. The museum is an institution of Mimar Sinan University and had remained as the only arts museum of Turkey until 1970s with its nearly 20,000 pieces. The Museum operated in this building until 2007 when it was entered to a restoration process, and it was never reallocated to the university once again. In 2012, one of the entrepot buildings at Karaköy port was assigned to the university for the use as the museum. The collection was moved to its brand new built contemporary storage chambers at the basement of this entrepot. The building was one of the 6 warehouse buildings at the port, and actually this was one of the 6 warehouse buildings. And our involvement with this project started at this point. At the time, the area served as the cruise port of Istanbul, which has a private operation with strict security issues, but we were going to plan a public building in that complex. This dichotomy, together with the issue of connecting to the Bosphorus, were the main challenges of this task, actually. On the other hand, the buildings had significant role in the urban memory of the city. The site had been an important port and industrial area throughout the history of the city. It's at the center of many public institutions like museums, universities, significant historical heritage such as Hagia Sophia as the center of tourism, and at the connection of main public sea transport lines. The site during 15th century Tophane district is so-called to be a rural and uninhabitable area. In 19th century, Tophane-i Amire, for casting cannonballs, was built here during Ottoman Empire. In 1929, the area was defined as the first free zone of Turkish Republic to be motor company exports, Ford Motor Company Exports Company. And since the end of 1950s, this area was being used as the main port of the city. Istanbul is a city located on the shores of Bosphorus. Since after the second half of 80s, its identity had transformed into a city of service rather than a city of industry as the outcome of globalism. Now the relation of the public with the Bosphorus is quite limited since most of the shore is occupied with private establishments. It's non-visible and unreachable for the public. On top of all, existing entrepot buildings were significant elements of the urban memory, and these were designed by the prominent architect Sedat Eldem, highly significant figure of the modern Turkish architecture, with an interpretation and adaptation of the structural grid of the vernacular Turkish house into a contemporary understanding in 1950s. On one hand, they were somehow following the roots of their ancestors, the distinct architectural character of the buildings borne by their form and scale was separating them from their surroundings. Like the old days of the Arsenal or the Ford factory. On the other hand, and very clearly, the exposed structural grid of the facade was one of the most significant architectural elements at this location. Instead of transforming their surface qualities into a different building, as seen in Istanbul modern of that time, we rather defended the idea of keeping the main character of the building. We count on the phenomenon of superimposition for growing cities. We strongly believe that cities are getting wealth by collecting different layers, layers of culture, layers of social classes, various colors of experiences, and layers of buildings from various times. We renovated the building by keeping its main character and adding new layers of current needs and ambitions. As a prime decision, we kept the reinforced concrete structure as it is, while the walls and the slabs were removed in order to obtain a 3D and totally naked structural grid, which will house the container galleries of the new museum. These containers are designed in various sizes. These containers are designed in various sizes and distributed all around the grid. We think that a museum should not be a sealed box which only contains artworks, but it should be permeable and accessible while enriching the public life around it. So the ground floor is designed as a continuation of the public space, and the art galleries are arranged in clusters in the upper floors. The containers are located among the beams. They are designed according to various necessities of the art objects. Some beams are removed to locate higher rooms for specific artworks. Top floor includes temporary event hall, exhibition halls, a library, and a restaurant with a Bosphorus view. Eldem this is the top floor. Eldem has placed port offices on the street facade as a juxtaposed building to the entrepot. We reconstructed it as an interpretation of Eldem's architecture, but while doing this, we again removed the floor slabs of that block that acts as the entrance and circulation core of the museum. This is that circulation area. And the former grid becomes a strong architectural element, reminding people of that industrial background of the site. Visitors enter the museum through a spacious hall, enhanced with commercial units, workshop rooms, and public facilities. This is the museum shop. The circulation core, which is located at this newly created atrium-like space. These are several shows. This is the ground level. The cafe on the ground level. As we go up, the galleries start to appear, and they are accessed through main circulation shafts. Visitors walk through the galleries and access to each one separately. So these are some pictures from these museum galleries. While circulating through the corridors, the connection with the city, environment, and Bosphorus is kept in all parts of the building. You have some instances on the way. A vertical void through the floor is designed. So these are the corridors. There is a big vertical void through the floor. It's designed as a courtyard for temporary exhibitions and events just in the heart of the building. This reaches to the top floor of the top level of the museum. This is the courtyard area reaching with a ramp to the top floor. This is the top floor. I will go through these pictures. The library located here. You see the containers as exhibition halls embedded in the existing structural grid, gray and neutral at daytime, and lighted in color as the symbol of the port at night time. These are the actual pictures now. So again, a nighttime picture with the colored containers. A before and after picture. Actually, however, while we have been working too hard to respect the urban memory, a new tender came into the agenda of the country in 2013, and the port area, except for the museum building, was taken over by a private consortium. After a long period of discussions, the Galata port, a mixed-use development, was built, and it was opened in 2021, together with the new cruise terminal, by demolishing all the remaining warehouse buildings. It's already completed and it's in use. This is the Renzo Piano building, which is just at the district, the new Istanbul Modern Renzo Piano. It was opened just a few weeks before. Now the area has a urban context with 2 major museums of the city and several commercial facilities all along the port area within brand new buildings. And we are proud to have insisted on keeping a prominent example of modern Turkish architecture as a trace of the past and in respect to the urban memory of the city. Thank you.